Yeah. It's funny talking about anything. The only thing, I can talk about anything, but when we were talking earlier on about when we were kids and my father in hospital, that's the only thing that brings a tear to my eyes.
Really? Yeah.
Because although my father was strict, I love the bones of him. Yeah. Because my dad was very intelligent, and I would sit up all night and argue politics and all sorts with my father. Yeah. It was my father, the person that I am today, my father made me. Yeah. The arrogant person that people see that don't get below is my father.
So there was good things to come from that relationship.
I'd like my dad. Yeah. And you say the most unlikely thing that my father did when my daughter was born, we lived in Warrington, again in a company house. My husband worked at ICI there. My father walked all the way from Widnes with the dog to see my daughter when she came out of hospital. Yeah. And he wouldn't love you, he wouldn't kiss you, but he did that.
It's funny, isn't it? A lot of people from that generation were fearful, for want of a better word, to show the feelings. Yeah. You two guys, Steve and Anne, you've both been through that, I can imagine. You know, when you see today, it's a lot more huggy sort of society.
That's the thing. I always, my children, and as you say about Josh doesn't hug, but we do hug him, even though he doesn't hug back. And he's 18 in June. He's just slowly now coming out that he will give you a slight little hug, but we are as a family a very huggy family.
I'm going to ask this question. I wasn't going to ask it, but I'm going to ask it on the same lines. Why do you think the older generation in those days, obviously, were fearful of giving those hugs out, getting close?
I had completely opposite experience. My brothers, my sisters, my mum and dad, we always kiss one another as brothers. I was brought up like that. I'd give you a hug, you know, especially if you I had 3 brothers who were going away to sea, and when they come home, the first thing was I jumped all over them and give them a kiss. I was brought up like that. So even now today, I'm still a hugger and a kisser. I haven't changed in life. And I don't think any of my family have really.
Yeah, we noticed you're a bit of a hugger.
Yeah. But we as you say, from my mother, my mum always loved her brother. She only had one brother. Was very much, Uncle Johnny was very much in our lifestyle. But my father said was very strict, and that came from all his families. He came from a large family, and none of them were very loving people. And the only thing I can come, because I don't remember anything about my grandparents, I can vaguely remember my grandmother with her long hair from Ireland. But I think that's just the way they were. They never had much to do with the children. It was always a work environment. What they could do in their life, and they all had set lives. And I think they came over from the potato famine, so I think they'd had a fairly hard life on the land, and it was a case there was no time for sort of family loving or anything. It was just work.
I can understand what you're saying. More towards looking towards survival.
How
to put food on the table.
Exactly.
Than...
So there was no time for sort of kissing and cuddling and sort of the niceties of life.
I understand.
It was almost, it was also a much more male-dominated society.
Very much so.
The ideology of the male.
As small as my father was 5'6" and like a stick insect. But as I said, my brother's Pat was 6'4". Dennis was quite stocky. John was in between the same size as my dad. My dad could knock hell out of him. And my dad could I remember once my brother, one of them, gave cheek to an aunt and was really rude to an aunt. And he locked them upstairs in the room with bread and water for a whole day. Now, the thought of a man of that size doing that today to 3 grown-up lads, he wouldn't stand a chance, but that's what he was able to do, and that's the force of him as an individual, how strong and how strict he was. Those lads could have climbed through the window and got out. Yeah. But they didn't.
You'd have social services on the case these days, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But in some ways, and me and you are the same, but being brought up, our parents, I think, were different, because I can remember my dad, he had 2 rules. One, never tell him lies. And this was instilled at you when you were young. Never tell him lies, and the other one was never bring trouble to your mother's door. They were the 2 rules that was instilled into the 8 of us all the way through life. As regard cuddling and kissing, even today, I think there's nothing better. When you feel a bit down or someone's died of someone closer comes around, puts their arm around you and say, give you a little peck. You know, I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's important. And I think, as I say, living in here, I think we are an organisation that we do.
Yeah.
You know, if I thought somebody was upset, but even as friends, I mean, like Pelham and I are friends, we always give a hug.